In 2024, families spent over $18 billion chasing this dream, motherhood. This is my firstborn, Margaret. Isn't she beautiful? But my question is, what happens when you turn a loving mom into a monster? The secret monster of postnatal depression affects 1 in every 7 women and 1 in every 9 men. It is often masked by smiles. There is a turbulence inside that could be the person next to you. It could be you. It could be a family, a colleague, or a friend. Now, around about when a baby is 3 to 6 months old, many men suffer from postpartum depression. Their testosterone levels drop, which is nature's nudge towards nurturing, but they don't quite feel themselves, and a lot of men don't speak about it. Now, this is me at 30, so I understand that isolation. This is me at my christening. I have a smile, but inside, I felt broken. I was ashamed and I was worried I was going to become the monster that my biological family were. When I say biological family, yes, I'm adopted. My biological family abandoned and abused me. And my parents that adopted me were loving, but they had never raised a baby of their own. They had their own inner turbulence. My mother was adopted and my father had suffered brutal discipline. Now, they were post-war children. And you know what happened in the war? You had to hide your pain, because hiding your pain meant survival. And so they never had any skills to pass on to me. No skills from having their own baby and no healthy emotional skills. But they weren't alone, because studies from 2015 to 2018 show that 1 in 5 people over 60 years old are on antidepressants. It means that they also didn't have those skills. And sometimes it's just having a drink in the evening to help you. Now, they're probably suffering from what we now know as anxiety. And anxiety is the difference between the space where you think this is what is expected of you, but this is what you can actually do. And you don't know how to bridge that distance. Now, as a new mother, my anxiety also spiked. And the thing with having a new baby, particularly if you're a single mom and the baby is crying night after night after night, that crying is a language that you don't yet know how to decipher. It can actually make you feel crazy. And so I did reach out for help, but the help I got was antidepressants, the baby boomers option. And so this monster emerged in me because there came a time when there was no more money for pills because I was a single mom. Now, we sometimes call this fight or flight, but in a mother, that anger came out in me because it was the only thing that I felt I could have control over. What was happening is I was suffering from sleep deprivation. In the 16th century, women accused of witchcraft were kept awake for days. This was a form of torture. Eventually, they broke and hallucinated and confessed to things that they actually had never done. Now, how did I know that I was suffering from sleep psychosis? Because one night, after all this crying, a voice inside my head said, "Take the baby to the pool, hold her under. She will stop crying, and you can go back to sleep." What was happening in my brain at that time? When you have sleep deprivation, the hippocampus in your brain gets faulty. Your proteins are shifting in your brain, and your learning and memory and the things that control your emotions seem to disappear. That's what I was struggling with. And then shame came in because I thought, I'm the only monster in this world. Who would have these horrible thoughts? But I wasn't actually alone, and I realized that I'd gone to antenatal classes, and they had lists about these kinds of things. I checked there, and I realized I wasn't a monster. I was trapped by my thoughts, Bob's angry, terrified thoughts. But I also knew I could reach out. The checklists have shown me lack of support, not having enough money, not having an emotional connection to the father. Those are things that were trapping me. So I reached out for help. The first call center told me, would you like to give the baby up for adoption? The second call center, they didn't even answer. There was an answering machine. They took 10 days to phone me back. 10 days when I needed a real human being to hold the line. Reaching out was not easy. It was painful. But over time, I was able to get support. I got the right kinds of vitamins. I got counseling. I got people who didn't think that I was a monster. And I could tell my monster inside, it's okay. I hear you. You were just trying to tell me something. We need human connection. That's what we thrive on. But most of us think when someone has a new baby, they need space. That's isolation. And the UN calls isolation a form of torture, just like keeping the witch awake. But when I learned to speak to my monster, and I heard that she was trying to tell me, we need help, that's when I could tame her and give her a place inside my life. It was a really important moment for me to realize that I had something that was going to help me. So what could have turned into loss, because when I faced my unplanned pregnancy, the first thing people told me was terminate. Then they told me, give her up for adoption. But it could have been tragic. It turned into a love story. And for 23 years, I have journeyed with this remarkable young woman. Thank you.